believe they were big swarmers. So I had her that entire time, and I let them, what we call supersede her. So as she got weak, they made some queen cells when they needed to supersede her and replace her when they needed to.
Did that colony live?
Yes, it did. They're still there. Hopefully nicer too.
Is there,
I'm gonna let you use the mic since you've got a low voice, if you don't mind. Here we go.
Are there bees that, other bees that put honeybees in danger or create an environment that deter honeybees from thriving?
So other bees that deter honeybees.
Yeah, I had
Are they
a,
in danger also?
So your native pollinator populations are going to be facing kind of the same issues that honeybees are. There's some research going on with that as well, to see what impact our honeybees have on native population of bees. The biggest thing is going to be whatever diseases our bees get. We know that a lot of other native pollinators, like your bumblebees, can also get those diseases. So we're finding, deforestation, pesticide use, and also varroa mites, because varroa mites vector a lot of different viruses and
You
diseases.
still have this on?
I don't.
Because
Don't
they're
need
having
to.
trouble
Okay.
hearing you.
Sorry. Oh, well, we'll turn it on. I was
There
trying
you
to
go.
avoid that. So what she was asking is your pollinators, your native pollinators are going to have similar issues because varroa has caused a big problem, not just with our bees, but also native bees as well. So those viruses that come from the varroa are going to affect your native population as well. And also, there is some competition, but we try, things you can do is creating a pollinator garden at home to help with some of that competition, because a lot of our bees are going to go out to some bigger areas where there's more of abundance of food sources. So I've seen a lot of pollinators like bumblebees come to smaller flower patches and things like that. But it's usually going to be your varroa mites that are vectoring these viruses and habitat loss. So.
Just to add to that a little bit, if you don't mind, I don't know if everybody's been looking at the current information out in our marketplace with honeybees and the kill-loss ratio that we're having this year. It's amazing. Normally, the hobbyists and the sideliners have most of the problem. The commercial people, they do very well. A lot of the commercial people are, as they're getting their bees ready for population, are seeing anywhere from 70 to 80 to 90 to 100% total bee kill. That is not sustainable. It's such a catastrophe this year that they pulled in the federal government, most of the American Bee Federation, and some of the others, APHIS, they're getting involved to try and find out why this is happening. It's the worst they've seen since 2007, 2008. So they're still looking at it. They've taken a lot of samples from the dead bees, from live bees, from combs and all of that, and trying to evaluate that at the end of this month. And if you come to our bee club, I'll have some of the information where you can sign up for a free webinar, and hopefully they'll have the results of why this is happening. Typically, the worst years we've had is 48 and 52% total bee loss in the United States. And this is happening completely across the United States. This year, they're estimating honeybee loss to be in excess of 70%. So and that's just not sustainable. They're afraid that a lot of commercial beekeepers are just going to get out of business because they cannot bring that many hives back. In the honey population, which is the first thing they go to try to do that, they're already seeing they're 300,000 and 400,000 hives short of the hives needed to pollinate the almonds. But anyway, just an added note there, it doesn't sound good. Any other questions? Yes, you got it. Here we go.
so if you're splitting your hives or if your queen dies, is there enough time from when the bees realize that queen pheromone
doesn't exist anymore, for them to feed enough royal jelly to, I guess, a worker cell to make another queen, or are they just kind of?
So, a little bit depends on the time of year. If you have a queen loss kind of early on in the spring, your bees are gonna have enough time, resources, and they're gonna be making those queen cells more than likely anyway. During the summer, you're still gonna see a lot of queen cells that can be made, so if you accidentally squish a queen during summertime, your bees are more than likely gonna sense that loss and are going to make a new queen and, you know, do what they need to do. Fall time, it's a little more difficult. It also depends on what drones you have in the area as well. If there's an emergency queen cell, we call those sometimes super seizure cells. If they're trying to make a new queen quickly, a lot of times we don't think that those queens are quite as quality as ones where they, you know, the swarm, kind of the swarm cells and stuff down at the bottom. So there is a little difference in your queen if you're in a time like, especially during the fall, especially when there's less drones, that your queen will be a quality queen and that they may be able to make a queen. But I think most commercial places that raise queens, I've gotten them like as late as August. It just depends, but those queens are not going to be as high quality. But yes, you can buy queens, so that's one way. If you are worried about your bees making a new one, most of the time they will. You can buy queens, you know, from queen rearers, so that you can learn how to introduce a new queen to a colony that has lost a queen. Or you can try to let them produce a new queen themselves. The other thing you can do, especially if it's later in the year and it's a weaker colony anyway, you can combine colonies, like a queenless colony with a colony that has a queen. So if you lose a queen, it's not the end of the world. It just sometimes means more work if your bees aren't going to make a new queen for you.
And also, if they keep it milk handy from their splits during the summer.
Hold on just a minute, we can't hear you over there.
So yes, so what she was saying is that Butch likes to say that springtime, your colony's building up, you may do some splits, but he also likes to do some splitting kind of in the end of the summer and, you know, kind of in the summertime into fall. So you have your backup nuke. So if you have a backup nuke in the fall and it's doing well from a split that you made earlier on in the season and you lose a queen, then again, you can combine that nuke with whatever colony that lost the queen. So there's a lot of workarounds that you can do. You had a question?
Yeah. So it's kind of back to the insecticides.
Let me let you have this so everybody can hear you.
All right, sorry. I'm a gardener, and
Okay.
so I was very interested in insecticides and all that. And our neighborhood and our garden area is all organic. Like, we don't let anyone use chemicals, which we're gonna put the bees by there is our plan, I think. But I have a question for my own yard also. Is it safe to use like Bayer, that you feed the roots of the plant that goes down and helps to fertilize and also protect against like the Japanese beetles? So how does that affect the bees?
So yes, that is going to be a lot safer as far as the contact for your bees, because your bees are going out and they're foraging. So people that are spraying, spraying their plants with chemicals, your bees are going to have more of a chance of coming in contact. If they're flying out to a neighbor's yard and it's not right next to the hive, they can come in contact with those chemicals and bring them back, but it's not being sprayed right next to the hive. Stuff that goes into the ground is going to be a lot safer. So if you're spraying anything and you do use certain chemicals, it's okay. Just tend to use more spray chemicals, maybe at night when all of your bees are closed in. Maybe cover them. If you know they're spraying mosquito spray, you can cover your hives just as a protection. A lot of places are trying to spray more in the evening when the bees are not quite, pollinators are not quite as active. So that's the biggest important thing to remember if you are going to be treating. If you're putting granules and stuff down, it's definitely going to be a lot safer because bees are going to have less contact with that. The biggest thing, mosquito buckets. Learn how to make mosquito buckets. I will get the name of the little brick that you can put in water sources.
Actually,
you know that?
You can actually, instead of even doing that, just get a little bit of Dawn or some kind of a liquid soap and just put that in any water.
I do worry because I don't know how much the bees will go to water sources.
Okay.
So they are these little bricks, and it's a bacterium that
Okay.
kills and stops the mosquitoes from
Okay.
going through their process. And you can add that to water, and there's some mosquito buckets that you guys can create instead of spraying for mosquitoes. So
Okay.
that's something to think about. But
Yeah.
yes, there will be less contact with those kind.
Right, I'm just talking like in my,
Yep,
I mean,
no,
where
that's
the guys
good.
are not getting in my water, but.
And they may avoid that
Mosquitoes
water.
do.
They know.
Also, read labels, read labels, read labels. That's the most important thing.
So I assume the bees navigate the dark cavity via pheromones?
A lot by pheromones, a lot by antenna. I can't remember. There was, I think Tom Seeley kind of went through a lot of that. But a lot of it is going to be by pheromones, by feelers, and directional. They, I think, know which way is up. So it's going to be a lot of the sensory stuff that does not use sight.
So my question is, how does the bees with a hygiene trait detect mites?
I think there is a smell to them, and they can find them and sense them into the smell. I believe there's a scent to that where they know there's something in there. They also do it with other diseases where they will chew out the brood or chew out the pupa and brood and usually pull them out and then clean out the cells. So I believe it's all by that smell sensory.
Could you replicate that smell and dump it in there and so everyone
I don't
smells
know
it?
that they've done that yet, but
Would you like force the habit?
so I have not heard of any research, if anybody else has.
There's some researcher, Karen Wagner, has done that particular stuff, and she's come up with a little spray. It's called dead brood odor, bad brood odor, and you take it and spread it on a little disc and put it in the hive and see how fast they clean it up. The thing actually smell the varroa mite and the distressed brood. And some bees can do it more than others. I think in your handout, you got a thing about it, about getting hygienic bees, or queens.
So yeah, there you go.
If the queen is killing her sisters by stinging them, does that not kill her like it does for the?
So her stinger doesn't have that nice little barb end on it, like the worker bees. So, and also, well, it might have the barb, but with the barb in our skin, it sticks in our skin also a little differently, where they can't pull it out as easily as they can if they sting other things. So mammal skin just is a little different. So it doesn't stick the same way as well. So she won't kill herself.
Oh, she never will. She can sting you multiple times.
Yeah, I don't take that chance.
I've read a little bit about ground preparation, about how do you prepare the ground where you put your hives? Is there any recommendation for that or not?
In reference to location or making the hive
Make it
healthier?
healthier?
I think we're gonna have another class
Yeah,
on
we're
that
gonna, yeah.
in just a little bit.
We'll,
Oh, yeah.
we'll
Don't
handle
worry
that as
about
far as
that.
location a little bit. We're getting to a point where we're about 5 minutes away, so I am gonna call the questions and we'll get those a little later on. Jennifer, let's give away a few more door prizes. I'll let you pick them out. Just tell me what you get, you call the number.
Let's go for the Varroa mite check, Varroa check. Last three digits, this is for a Varroa check for your mite washes. We are 861.
Who donated that?
That was from Rodney, our master beekeeper. Right over there, in the maroon. Yay!
Instructions in the box on the house, and keep your ticket, you might get another one.
Let's see. Let's do a gift certificate. This is from Barnyard Bees. They're up in Chatsworth. I went all the way up there. I'm gonna do 3 $10 gift cards, so $30 worth of gift cards for Barnyard Bees. And this one is going to be, last three digits, 877. Yay!
All right, let's do 2 more, Shannon.
All right, we'll do another one from Forsyth Beekeepers donation. This is a marker for marking your queen. I believe this is this year's color. So there's a coloring system based off of dates that you use. And then, because I'm not brave enough to pick up my queen and mark her without something, there's a little plunger here to help you do it. So it is a marker for this year and a plunger to help you mark your queen. And this number is 887. Anybody? 887. Oh, did I mess up giving out numbers? All right. Going once. 887. All right, try again. All right, next number is 888. Hey! Which is very good about telling you how to mark your queens without help, though.
Let's do one more and then we'll go
All
to
right.
lunch.
Let's do some smoker fuel. You guys can have this ready for your field day. So this is from Better Bees, and this is a smoker fuel sample, unbleached cotton textile. I just tend to use the good old pine straw and wood chips, but if anybody, there's a bunch of different commercial smoker fuel if you guys are ever interested. So the next number is 864. Yay!
All right, with that, what we're gonna do now is break for lunch. Of course, you'll go out this